I made a breakthrough. I made a discovery. I, in my last video, one of my last videos, I talked about the fact that I feel like I don't know how to manifest my dream reality. Even though I can envision it and I feel more at peace and more content and more like emotionally stable than I ever have before, I don't know how to manifest my dream reality into real life. And so, like, I guess before I figure out what actions I need to take to make that happen, or like what beliefs I need to readjust to make that happen, I ask myself, what even is abundance to me? Because again, like I talked about in my previous video, money isn't really like that important for me. Money isn't something that I need a lot of to feel content. I literally talked about in one of my other videos, I think it was my unemployment video. I was like, I've had money before. Like I've been making enough money to like support myself twice. That's what I said in that video. And I still didn't feel like I was living the life I wanted to live. Like I didn't feel like that was my peak reality by any means. In part because I was making money, but I wasn't doing it in a way that emotionally fulfilled me or really had anything to do with who I was as a person. It was just like a server job. And so like I was like, okay, so if having enough money and being comfortable isn't your dream reality, and that's not necessarily what you want to manifest because you've already had that before, what is it? And so I started to meditate and journal about it, and I came to the conclusion that, like, to me, abundance and prosperity is connection. Like, after all of the pages of journals I wrote and the crying and the purging I did, that was like one of the final sentences I wrote. Abundance to me is feeling connected and feeling like I belong, because that's not something I've ever had, literally ever, in a way that's like real, healthy, and long lasting. But like I've never had like a place where I really belong that was like actually real. I've never done that for work. I've never had that with my family. I've had positive friendships, and I've, interacted in ways with people that I feel like were fulfilling. But again, in order for that to be something that lasts, I had to have been mature enough, and the other people would have had to have been truthful and mature enough too. And I feel like I'm at the point in my life where, to me, like, abundance is connection, because I finally feel connected to myself. I feel like I can trust myself, and I still have to work on my self-trust because I've self-sabotaged in the past, and that's been a pattern I've had to break. But like, it has nothing to do with money. Like, I know I've dated people. Actually, I dated someone pretty recently who made a lot of money, and they were able to shower me in a lot of gifts and take me a lot of places and all of those things. And I wasn't, it was nice. Like, it was nice, but that what to me wasn't like the peak happiness. It had nothing to do with like the life I kind of wanted to live, because I didn't really feel connected to that person. Again, like I've said again in previous videos, if I'm dating someone and my level of consciousness is higher than theirs, or I've done more work on myself, or I feel like they're leaning on me to help them emotionally process and think and do all of the stuff I feel like should mostly be done alone, at least, for certain things, I'm not going to be able to lean on that person because I'm ahead of them. And I know that sounds kind of like crazy, but like, if someone doesn't provide any other space and for themselves in their life to emotionally process, and they put that all on their romantic partner, that romantic partner isn't going to be really able to trust them or lean on them for anything, because they're not doing that on their own. Like, they're using the relationship to emotionally process and purge and blast their stream of consciousness and all of that stuff. And I told that person that was too much for me. That's not what I felt a romantic relationship was for. I don't think it's something they really understood. But yeah, that person was very well off, and it wasn't what I wanted, because I didn't feel connected to them. And so like, I've figured out that to me, the life I want to manifest and the abundance I want to feel is primarily connection and feeling like I belong. And I think my next step, so I feel like I can see this kind of happening in like a progression. First, I felt like bored because I noticed that the things that I'm engaging in, the things I've always engaged in my entire life, were not fulfilling me anymore because they were done out of comfort or survival. Then I came to the realization that I came to the point where I felt very emotionally fulfilled and at peace on the inside, but my material world is very lacking in terms of the things that I wanted to see and the experiences I wanted to have and the life I wanted to live. Like on the inside, I felt better than I ever have before, but on the outside, it was lacking. Um, and now I've come to the realization that like, yeah, and so that made me feel like I couldn't take action, or like I just feel stagnant because I don't know how to bridge that gap. I don't know how to manifest or have anything in my life that's not out of comfort and survival, because that's all I've ever like attracted or like manifested. And so um I that's what I've been thinking about. That's the work I've been doing in my personal time. It's like, okay, how do I manifest the things that I know I can have and the things that I know I have inside into my material reality? Because my material reality is like really lacking in terms of like what I want and manifestations, financially, relationship wise, etc. And so I know a part of that is discipline. Like I know that manifestation requires discipline, but it's difficult to take action or be disciplined when you don't even know what you're doing or like how to do it. And so like, yeah, that's what I've been doing in my personal time, is figuring out what that even looks like for me. Like what does the life that you want to live look like? And to me, it's like connection. Like I want to feel like I belong. I want to feel like I'm with a person, I'm with friends, I'm with a community where it feels like I'm useful, where it feels like I'm supported, where I feel like I'm loved, where it feels like I belong, where it feels like I can be myself, like all of myself, not just half of myself. Um, where it feels like I'm safe and like I like belong there. I'm like getting emotional saying this. Um, and the fact that that to me is like that's like my peak manifestation right now. Like that's my dream life. Like I would feel so amazing if that happened. Um, I don't want to say it's sad, but it's just very like telling that just being around people and feeling like I can be open and receive from people who love me and support me completely and fully. Um, I don't know if that's sad, but it's just a realization I've come to. I don't want to say money doesn't matter, but again, like material possessions to me aren't as important as that. And another part of me is kind of like raising a flag that my material wealth or like material possessions or money that I have is somehow connected to my relationships and my connections, or me feeling like I belong, or me feeling like I have support and community, which I tell myself those things. Like I write to myself, I tell myself, I affirm myself that I deserve support, that I am supported, that I deserve love, that I have all of these things. So again, it's internally, it's there. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm doing the work, but like somehow I know, I have a feeling that the manifestation that I have, that I want to have a place of belonging in a family and like a place where I can be myself and where I can experience like deep, profound, safe love, is somehow connected to money and my material success. That's the next bridge that I'm going to have to learn how to gap. Um, I'm not exactly sure what that means or what that looks like, but I think I am making progress in terms of like learning how to manifest my dream reality, because at least I know what it looks like and what it feels like right now at this period in my life.